The World Junior Hockey Championship is in the books, and the storylines actually do matter on the ice and beyond. I'm going to break that down. I'm going to break down what we learned, what stood out, and what it means for Hockey Canada going forward. Then I'll turn my attention to the NHL as midseason hits and midpoint and contenders begin to separate from the pretenders. The stretch drive is now. Hockey isn't just entertainment in Canada, as our Canadian viewers know, it's our identity and momentum. The World Juniors shape expectations, and the NHL's second half tells us which teams are real contenders, and markets lock in for the stretch run.
All
Gary,
right.
yeah, I tell you, I've been like I said, Manila and I are wintering down south and in Mexico, trying to find the necessary telecast to watch the games has been a little challenging. But you know what? I managed to catch a game or two of the World Junior Hockey Championships, which were being held in the United States in Minnesota. And Canada and the United States are always up there in terms of potential candidates to make it to the semifinals and finals. And there were some surprises and disappointments in this year's hockey tournament. Gary, one of the biggest things that I've seen on social media and on mainstream media is about the abysmal attendance of the hockey tournament in Minnesota, which is pretty much the hockey state of the United States of America. Up until the semifinal games, even some of there was even some of the semifinal games. The attendance was maybe 5, 6,000 people in an arena that can hold 15,000 very easily. So attendance was just completely abysmal and disappointing to me as a hockey fan, especially in the state of Minnesota, that there wasn't a more solid attendance to support these young men with aspirations to play professional hockey, both here in North America and in Europe. So that was one of the storylines: is the continued abysmal attendance. I mean, guaranteed, Gary, if these games were held in cities in Canada, arenas would be 75% full just for the preliminary rounds, and if you get into the playoffs, they'd be sold out arenas. So, as I said during the introduction, yeah, Canada is a passion and a religion here for us, and it shapes our culture and our well being in a lot of cases. But it's just too bad these young men didn't have a bigger attendance base in the United States.
Eddie,
Another story.
it kind of makes you
Yeah, go
wonder
ahead.
though, like they continue to push expansion of NHL teams in the US, and
Yeah.
yet what are they drawing overall?
Yeah, a couple of months ago, I checked out the attendance levels in the United States, and except for some of the major franchises like New York, your Los Angeles Kings, Detroit Red Wings are not selling out anymore, even though they're doing half decent. The Colorado Avalanche are selling out. The Bruins typically sell out, but other than that, not a hell of a lot of people understand. The two-time winning Florida Panther champions, Stanley Cup champions, the arena is more than half empty, and these are the reigning Stanley Cup champions. So, what gives? And I agree with you. And then hockey is not a sport of choice for Americans in general. Like, I don't know, the sport is too fast for them to follow. Maybe follow baseball. I don't know. It just doesn't seem to be catching on in terms of what Gary Bettman would like to see in terms of expansion. And get this, Gary, I saw an article that the NHL is considering accepting a request from a different ownership group to bring back the Arizona Coyotes into Phoenix, literally. So how much is Bettman going to be pocketing by accommodating another franchise in Phoenix that just got moved to Utah? And he's going to completely ignore Quebec. He's going to completely ignore Hamilton, and Toronto can do with a second team as well. But yeah, he's got to go. We got to get fresh blood in there. But I'm really happy you brought that point up, Gary.
Yeah, he's a real
Um,
piece of work.
oh my God, yes. Absolutely. And you know what? I've never seen a commissioner of professional sports presenting a trophy or doing some kind of conversation in an arena with a microphone in his hands where he's just relentlessly booed. I've never seen that, and it continues to be the case for Gary Bettman, especially here in Canada. So yeah, just to give you an update on the championships, the World Junior Championships, they're over, of course. So um, one of the other storylines was, believe it or not, Canada, the Team Canada's uh, questionable sportsmanlike conduct this year. When they played a preliminary game against their nemesis Czechia, at the end of the game, they skated off the ice. They didn't even shake hands with them. You know what? And you know that comes down to a problem with the management and the coach of the Canadian team. You know, the kids are saying, "Well, you know, we didn't know we have to go shake hands." Look, I'm sorry. There was quite a few players on that roster that know very well that you have to go shake hands after an international game because they did it last year. So I don't know what the hell happened there, but anyway, that was just completely wrong. I was very disappointed as a sports fan and a Canadian that they didn't shake hands after the game. So maybe this has everything to do with the Canadian team having an axe to grind before even the puck drop for the tournament. I don't know if you knew about this, Gary, but Canada over the last 2 years were eliminated in the playoff round by Czechia. They didn't even make it to the finals. So maybe there was some animosity that got passed over to this preliminary game against Czechia, and they didn't shake their hands. But yeah, they got eliminated by them for the last 2 years. And another headline in this story is that Canada went into the playoffs, uh, and they went through the preliminary round undefeated, and in most cases they scored 6 to 7 goals a game. So you know the Canadians came in with a chip on their shoulder, and they meant business. So Canada makes it into the playoffs. So does the United States of America. So here we are into the quarterfinals, and I jumped for joy when this happened. In the quarterfinals, USA loses to Finland 4-3. Nothing against these young men, but just the fact that the United States lost to another country, I was very pleased to hear that. So yeah, USA loses in the quarterfinals to Finland 4-3, and Canada wins over Slovakia with a convincing 7-1 win. The game wasn't even close. And as a matter of fact, this win by Finland and win by Canada, it actually set up a return grudge match in the semifinals. Sweden versus Finland, and Sweden takes it 4-3. In the other quarterfinal, Canada versus Czechia. Czechia, for a third year in a row, eliminates Canada. They take the game 6-4. I didn't watch the game, Gary, but I watched a lot of reviews and replays of the game. It seemed to me that the score was 6-4, but Czechia wanted it more, and they seemed to outplay Canada in a lot of areas. So congratulations to them. Canada gets eliminated in the semifinals. So that sets up the bronze medal match. Canada versus Finland, and Canada wins the bronze medal, 6-3 over Finland. The gold medal game, Gary, did not go to Czechia. Sweden beats Czechia 4-2 to take the gold medal. Congratulations to these young men. Congratulations to all the players from all countries that went there for putting in an effort and representing their countries proudly. And you're speaking about 15 to 18 to 19-year-olds, Gary. So, you know, young men, still a long way to go in terms of their career and maturing as young men, and playing on an international stage is an extremely positive experience for all of them. And you know what? Hockey Canada has to go back to their drawing board and get a better understanding on what it is that these Europeans are doing better in terms of training their young professionals to compete at a professional level, on a professional level, and on the international stage. And you know, maybe Hockey Canada has to look at their management infrastructure, their training programs. You know how they're promoting programs with finances are very important, and maybe it comes down to a case of changing the coaching staff. I believe it's Dale Hunter who's the head coach. He's been there for the last 4 or 5 years. I think they've won once out of the last 5 years. So maybe there's a change that's required. Yeah, so that's it for junior hockey, Gary.
Well,
Any questions on that? Any comments?
no, I agree with you in the fact that it looks like some kind of change is needed. The skating off the ice and not shaking hands.
Yeah,
It's a reflection of the individuals themselves because they know better. But it's to me is also a reflection on the coaching and management staff. So it almost seems in some respects that the desire isn't there. They're going through the motions.
Yeah. There's
and I saw a comment. Yeah, and I saw a comment, and it looked like a number of people were agreeing, and all the comment said was, "Bronze not good enough." So, yeah, I think probably we're coming to a crossroads with hockey in this country, and probably that's going to require some navel gazing. Do you remember it was back in maybe the 70s, late 70s, we went through kind of it seems to me, I remember a sort of a similar soul-searching exercise as far as our junior hockey and our Olympic hockey was concerned. And I think probably we're at that point again where we have to have a look at what, as you say, other countries are doing and how they're doing it, and what we're doing and how we can, okay, let's look at their best practices and incorporate some of them that'll work with us, and just do a sweep all the way around. Because sometimes you're right, especially in competitive situations. Doesn't matter what sport it is, or even in the corporate world, you're in a competitive situation, and eventually you burn out and you just become dull, right?
Yeah, and I think part of the problem too is TSN, which pretty much owns the broadcast rights on these international tournaments. They just completely overhype the importance of getting a gold medal to these young men. So right from the get-go, if you don't get a gold medal, you forget it, man. You guys are history. You don't care about you. That's unfair pressure to put on these guys. Yes, they know they have to win, and all of a sudden you're playing hockey for free basically, and you're being expected to win a gold medal or else type of thing. Like it's just the bar is just set way too high, and it could be just that, a simple situation where we're going to be proud of you regardless of the situation. We're going to be proud of you whether you won or lost and you tried your best. Okay.
Yeah.
I doubt very much Canada is going to fare poorly in an international tournament, but you can't put that pressure of an expectation that they have to win a gold medal.
And the other side of it is, Eddie, let's not forget it is a game, and it doesn't matter if you're 16 or 56 playing in a gentleman's league. Are you having fun?
Yeah.
That so often now is left out of the equation. Even at work, are you having fun? If you're not having fun, after a while you're going through the motions, and that's it. And going through the motions in a competitive sport, not good enough.
And it could be and you could be hitting the nail right on the head right now. If they might be just completely disconnected and disillusioned to this whole thing.
Yep.
Yeah. The young men, you got to lay the pressure off, and I blame TSN for a lot of this overhype about a junior team. So Gary, we're going to get on to the next piece. I won't take too long. I just want to give our viewers and you an update on the NHL as we have approached the mid-season. So
let me guess, this involves the Montreal Canadiens.
How did you guess? Well, let me tell you. So we've approached actually we've hit mid-season, and here's where we stand right now, Gary. And I had actually said 3 or 4 of the 7 Canadian teams would be in a playoff position by mid-season. Boy, was I wrong. Right now, Gary, we have 2 teams in Canada that have that are in a playoff position. By no means secured, but are in a playoff position. The Montreal Canadiens today in the Eastern Conference are in 4th place out of 18 teams, or 18 or 16 teams out of 16 teams. Yeah. So Canadians are in 4th place with 52 points, and in the Western Division, the Edmonton Oilers, after starting off very slowly, are in 5th position. So those are the only 2 teams that are in a playoff position. Everyone else, Gary, is in the Western Division is not even close. In the Eastern Division, your beloved Maple Leafs are in 11th place, and the Ottawa Senators are in 15th place. Now, the Eastern Conference is so tight. You have the Montreal Canadiens with 52 points, are 4th in the division, and the Leafs 11th with 47 points. Gary, we're only talking about 5 points here.
Yeah, that's not bad.
A losing streak there, a winning
That's
streak
tight.
there.
Yeah.
Every team in that division is within striking range. So that division, when it's going to come to the grind of the last few weeks in the NHL, they're going to go into the playoffs beat up and worn out because it's so tough and so tight, which is great for hockey. So you know what? So far, so good. The Canadians are doing well. The Maple Leafs are on again and off again. They do continue to struggle. Austin Matthews is still struggling without Mitch Marner, and maybe them putting the C on his sweater is having a negative effect on his mental psyche going into these hockey games. Because I mean, as ravenous as the Montreal press is on the Montreal Canadiens, the Toronto media is absolutely hyena focused on the Leafs, and the captain has to step up before a microphone and explain,
Yep.
whether they lose a game or two, and you know what can you do better when you win a game? I mean, I don't think he's. I thought it was a mistake giving him the seat on his sweater, and I was not proven wrong there. So hopefully things will turn around for the Leafs and the Senators. The Senators are also within striking range. Now, here's the kicker. I was completely wrong. Um, I had said the Edmonton Oilers are going to make it into the playoffs. I had also predicted that the Winnipeg Jets, last year's President Trophy winner, meaning the team that had the most points hitting out of the regular season, are dead last in the Western Division. Winnipeg only has 35 points, Gary. What a fall from grace. I don't think they're going to make the playoff. They're just way, way too far. And I was predicting that the Vancouver Canucks, after last year's dressing room turmoil and addressing that, they're only in 15th place in the Western Division. I think they're out. And the Calgary Flames are in 14th. So we have 3 Canadian teams rounding out the bottom spots of the Western Division. Flames in 14th, Canucks in 15th, Winnipeg Jets in 16th. I think they're pretty much done for the season. The story of the NHL this year, Gary, the Colorado Avalanche. We're 40 some odd games into the season. They have only lost 2 games.
What?
These guys have only lost 2 games all season, Gary. These are the perennial contenders to win a Stanley Cup. They've only lost 2 games. Unbelievable. Yeah, I can hear your jaw dropping. Only 2 games, Gary. If only the Canadians and the Toronto Maple Leafs can play like that, but they got their stuff together there. No question about it.
Wow.
Only 2 games, I'm telling you. Yeah, so that's it for the NHL. Any predictions, which I know what the next question is going to be. My prediction for Canadian teams making into the playoffs, Canadians will, the Oilers will. I also believe the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to find a way and make it into the playoffs. How far they go, I don't know, but I really believe the Leafs should be able to make it. They just gotta get their dressing room in check, and we'll see what goes on from there.
Yeah,
And just briefly, in preparation for the Olympics, Gary, Team Canada has selected their players. I'm not going to go through the entire list, but it's pretty much, I think 75% of the roster is the same team that played in the Four Nations tournament last year, which Canada won, beating the United States in overtime. So they pretty much sustained their core. There are 5 players that were not invited back, and of course they're extremely disappointed by being dropped out of the of playing this year. Montreal Canadiens captain Nick Suzuki made it, so I'll just leave it off with that. And as a matter of fact, I was looking at the B roster, if you want to call it. Team Canada could have put 2 teams in the Olympics, and they both would have been contenders to go far. And again, as Canadians, Gary, you and I expect these guys to win the gold medal, right? But they're professionals; they're seasoned professionals. You and I, when we go watch their games and buy their merchandise, we pay their salaries. We expect them to win. So right now, as it seems, the Olympics are still on. The National Hockey League Players Association has still not 100% committed to it because at Dam Arena in Italy still not ready.
Yeah.
They still haven't completed it. And of course, with an ice rink that's 4 feet shorter than regulation NHL, let alone Olympic size. So the chairman of the Olympic Installation Committee and the director of operations in Italy are saying the games will go on. Hockey will be played in Italy. So we're going to see how they're going to figure that one out, whether they're going to be moving it to other arenas or, maybe offsetting it to Switzerland or Austria to host a few games. I don't know.
Talk about deja vu. Does that not sound like the Montreal Summer Olympics?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Yeah. So look at this. The Montreal Olympics are the only Olympics in history where their venues were not finished, where the construction wasn't finished by the time the Olympics started. Sochi Olympics came close, but they got it under the wire. Oh boy, it doesn't look good for Italy right now. So
Nope.
I wish them well, and I hope they get it done.